I was born Vaishnav Hindu. Both my parents were Vaishnav Hindu, and it's pretty much assumed that I was Vaishnav Hindu. Technically, this means that we believe that Vishnu is the creator and the supreme god. But in practice, it was all very amorphous. My dad never said these things. It was something that I found out through my own research. I'd say it was more of really an ethnic identity almost than a religion. It was kind of like something that your parents were and then you became. It was passed down for generations and you were that. But then all of a sudden, my parents came to America. I was born. I grew up in this culture where they had all these religions. For the first time in hundreds of years, there was a possible shift in religious identity. I was born in America. I always thought that I should think for myself. And religion and philosophy, those sorts of things kind of spoke to me at an early age. It wasn't something that anybody taught me about or told me was important. I just always thought they were interesting subjects. Throughout my preteen years and teenage years, I read about other religions and Hinduism too. Popular Hinduism, they focused mainly on the stories and mythology, like the Ramayana, Mahabharata, stories of Ganesh and Shiva. And these are the stories that parents use to teach children values and virtues. And these are the stories my parents taught me because no one in my family read the ancient books. They didn't read the Vedas or the Upanishads or what have you. Which, ironically are the books they talk about when you read about Hinduism academically. They talk about those books. But a lot of Hindus, actually all Hindus in my experience, don't know about what's in those books. And my father taught me the stories, my grandmother taught me the stories because she was very religious. She was orphaned in an early age. She had a really strong religious identity. I learned about other religions. I read the Bible, I read about Judaism, I read about Buddhism. I'd say I kept with that interest for a long time. Recently I've been reading books about Taoism and Zen. I'd say my current beliefs aren't really related to Taoism and Zen, but I do find the ideas of Taoism and Zen interesting. I think my current beliefs, not beliefs, but interests, are more syncretistic, open-minded, and cross-cultural than they would be in any other state. I was never involved in much of any religious services out of my own volition because I guess I've had this belief or this assumption that I can learn it all on my own, and it's kind of something that I can learn and use for myself as a tool. Religion and spirituality and philosophy are all just tools. And I think that's one of the assumptions of Californian spirituality and religion. I think the big picture and the takeaway from all this, at least in my opinion, is that an environment like California allows people to find the religion, spiritual path, philosophical framework that is the most suitable for them. Because then people can find the religions and beliefs that will best support them. I think really the conclusion I've drawn from looking back on my life and my family's history is just how unlikely it all is. If I hadn't been born in California, I think I would be a very different person religiously, and that would affect every other area of my life. I just think about the fact that my ancestors lived in one part of the world for hundreds of years, thousands of years, and then all of a sudden my parents come here, and then there's this culture shock and a religious culture shock along with it. You have all these other religions. Of course, my parents knew about Catholicism and Christianity. It was a dominant force here, or two of the dominant forces here anyway. I think the conclusion I drew from it is how different things would be if I was born in any other state. And even beyond that, the fact that I'm born in the United States at all changed who I am in a religious way and not just culturally. I think my religious interests would be a lot more narrow if I had been born in India. I wouldn't have been exposed to religions like Taoism, Zen, Judaism, and Christianity to the extent I am here. And the kind of open-minded, idiosyncratic nature of California religion definitely influenced who I am. It gave me, and many others, the idea that you can blend different belief systems together without conflict. You can use religion, spirituality, philosophy as tools to understand your life rather than something that you're a part of. The first thing is that you can use it as a tool to improve yourself, your life, and lives of others around you, rather than you having to become a servant of some ideology or religion. I think it's a powerful idea, and I think it's something idiosyncratic to California.